Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a Ford Super Duty. This one I have, let's see here, got the hubs taken out. You know, those are your hubs. And then we have axle shafts right here. And I'm replacing the actual hub bearing assemblies, but I'm also doing the vacuum seals. So if you do not know, you got these seals. They go around this area of the axle. They're pressed in there inside this guy, and then you do have, well, this is what's left of the blown out seal. Now, in order to install these, so here's your stub shaft set in the vise. This would be your new seal right here, and this has to get set on there and tapped down. Now, in order to do that, OTC sells a tool. I don't have time to buy the tool today. I've done this in past with some large pieces of pipe, but today I'm taking it a step further. I'm actually making a tool. So here's what I have going on. I cut this out today on the plasma table this morning, right out of this piece. So I got that cut out of there, and I'm going to give you some specs. So in case you want to do this at home, maybe you have a hole saw kit you can drill through with. But here's what I did. So the outer diameter is 3 13/16 is what I cut this out to, and the ID is 1 3/8. So that's what I did right here. So I got this cut out, I cleaned it up. Next step is going to take, so let me just kind of show you. So imagine this. This is gonna set on there like that, fit in place of that. And then I have this piece of 250 wall DOM. This is 2-inch OD. This is going to get set over the top of that. And then I have a slug that I have cut out. That's gonna get welded right to the top of there. So this is a 3-piece unit that I'm using. This is gonna be my generic OTC tool. So what I'm gonna do right now, take all these pieces off. I can get them. And I'm going to weld them up together. So here's what we're going to do here. Let me get this tripod all set up for you guys. Let's get in there. So I got my trusty Miller-Matic. That's what I'm going to use to weld this thing up. Get this thing set up. And we're going to get to it. So now I'm going to take these pieces, do the best I can on my weld job, but we're going to focus more on the workpiece right now, not just me. So I'm going to line this thing up best I can with my eyeballs. Looks pretty good. Okay, so there's this guy. So what I'm going to do now is I just got 2 tack welds on there, 1 on each side. There it is. So it looks pretty centered. Well, let's make sure it actually fits on here first before I go and do a hard weld. And I'm looking down on the inside. That looks pretty good to me. I know the light ain't gonna get in there and show you really good, but you can see the shaft in there. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. So let's get back in there. You know, actually, I'm gonna move this just slightly. I don't like what's happening actually now that I'm looking at it. So just a little bit off. I don't like that. Let me clean this up with the grinder really quick. So I gotta get this plate. Alright, and then what I did too is I put a slight little bevel right around that's going to help the weld get up in there. Actually, here's what we're going to do. Let's just flip this around. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to roll with that. Probably what I should have did to begin with. There, that looks way better. Just like last time, make sure it fits. Fits. All right. Now let's get ready to burn this thing in. Okay, now we're gonna put the top cap up on the top. Let's make sure this guy, so you guys can see that. So there's a weld at the bottom. Now we're gonna weld it up right here. Yeah, there's the tool. Okay, so there's our finished tool. Got that guy. This is going to give me a nice area to strike with a hammer. Let me go chill this thing in the sink really quick, and we'll come back and let's see if this thing works. All right, so here's the tool, all dried off. You know, welded up pretty good. And there's our top cap. There's again what it looks like. So this guy, you can imagine, is going to go right here. That right across the top. It fits pretty good. And then we're going to hit it with a hammer like this. So I'm going to go get some WD-40. I'm going to lubricate it a little bit before we go and do this, and let's see if this works. All right, so what I'm going to do here is got a little bit of AMS oil spray grease. So I have this all wiped off and clean. Just going to do a little bit of this on there. And a little bit. Just a little bit on the inside. I'm going to set this thing on there. Working. That's looking about it to me. Just hit it one more time, but I think that's money, dude. Yeah, so let's take a look. Let's find out. So there's the seal. Looks like it's pretty installed, and then this piece, you know, kind of rotates around. Well, this rotates around in this, but that piece is installed right there. So my homemade tool, technically shop made tool, it does work for the Super Duty. I think this is, oh god, 99 to 2004 F250 Super Duty and 2005 Ford Excursion. So this works. I hope it works for you. If you have a plasma table and you maybe want a DXF file, you know, of this, if you can't edit it yourself, I'd be happy to send it to you. Send me a message with your email address. I'll send you the DXF file. All right, so we're going to finish the other seal, and then we're going to actually try the installation and make sure this works. Okay, the next part of this, we have, this is another, camera's falling down. This is another seal. This is the inner one right here. You're gonna notice there's two sides to this right here. This littler lip where it tapers down, that's gonna face towards the outside of the vehicle. So it's gonna drop on, you know, in this area, just like this. So again, tapered area, it's gonna drop down like this. So now we need to clean everything. And we're gonna clean it. We're gonna use the wire drill. Gonna kind of go around everything. Again, same thing, a little bit of AMSOIL spray. There is no special tools required for this one. You just kind of got to beat it on slowly with a hammer. Now I'm taking the seal and I'm kind of pulling it away as I hit it. So that's a little bit of a pain in the butt because it wants to try to, like, you know, cockeye a little bit here and there as you're doing it. Don't be surprised if you're on it for a while, because this kind of isn't very fun. Come on. Man, it'd be cool if this was even longer. I think you just go straight down with it, but alright, that was just my delivery of AutoZone. So now we got the seals on there. I want to show you. So this outer big seal, that is the part number right there from AutoZone. This one is really important. So this seal, you're not going to find that on the website, but there's your part number for this. 710413. That is this seal. Let's get on to phase, I don't know, 3, whatever. Let's get this installed. Okay, we're now back at the vehicle. We got the axle shaft. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure this area is cleaned and these splines are cleaned. So we're just going to kind of wipe them down. There's nothing in there. And there is an axle seal right about that area, right on the carrier that this smooth piece rides in. So we want to put a little bit of grease on there, and then you also want to make sure that the bore in here is clean, which we've already cleaned that, but for illustration purposes. And then you want to try to make sure that there's nothing inside of this tube right here, so on the inside. So that's clean in there. And then now we need to we're going to spray a little bit right in there, just to kind of help stuff slide in. Now let's get ready to pop this in. Alright. So being as this is the short side, this is the easier side to do. Trying to see if I can get this engaged a little bit. Okay. So I do got this seated in here now, and what I did was I supported the bottom of the shaft with one of my hands as I was pushing it in with the other, because the shaft is going to just try to, when you're pushing it in, it's going to try to nose down. So you got to lift it up to support it to get it to go in perpendicular to the axle shaft. And then what I did was I took the drive line and I rocked the drive line, and you can see as I'm rocking it, we have a spline engagement. It's not all the way in and seated yet, but we got it started. So now we're going to use our tool. Let's get this camera posted up a little bit better. Okay. Now, use that tool, just like that. We're going to set it on here. And it is working. So as I'm tapping, this is driving the seal in. Now, I want you to see this silver end right here. We don't want to tap on that. We only want to tap on the middle. So let's get this back in here. That to me looks like it's in. So there it is. It is tapped and seated in there. Another method you can do for putting these in is if you have, so here's a little bearing assembly. You can take that and slip it in, and then you can use the studs with the nuts on the back to start pulling it in, and it will push up against there to get that thing in there. So now that we got that in there, let's get the new hub, which we have this hub right here. Let's get this thing out of here. So this is our hub from Duralast. So that comes from AutoZone. There are two different hubs, three technically. So you got the dually, the single rear wheel, so the spacing is going to be different on a non-dually. So we have a non-dually. And there's also on the lug nuts, these studs. There's coarse and fine spline studs. So you want to make sure you get the right hub the first time, so you're not having to pull it back off, take it back, or do mismatched lug nuts. So these are the coarse ones, so that is easy to mess up. So now we have this plug that has to come out, and this is where the axle shaft will ride against, and it'll help hold support it. And then what we got to do too is this thrust washer. So with this thrust washer, you're going to see there's grooves and there's a flat side. So what we want to do, it's going to go in there. So the grooves are going to face in. The flat side, as you can see, that's exposed, that's going to face towards the hub. So that's what we want to do right there. And then we'll go over this stack in a minute. Let me get some cutters. And then what we have too is it comes with some studs. So we need to get these studs, you know, put in here. See, like so. But we're gonna go get some Loctite. We're gonna put a little bit of Loctite on these, and then we'll go to inserting them. Loctite. Okay, next we need the backing plate. So I'll lift this guy off. First, let's get this cleared. So there's your backing plate. Literally all it does is it just sets on there, and then you want to tuck your ABS sensor harness onto there. So then what we're going to do is we're going to actually take the whole hub assembly and we're going to slip it forward onto everything. So again, we're just going to spray a little bit of that, because this area is right where it's going to contact this pre-greased area. This is the needle roller bearing inside the hub assembly, and it's going to support this shaft right here. And then there's 4 nuts on the back side that we're going to get to those in a minute. Okay, that slipped right in. And then now what we need to do, I'll show you. I'm gonna get this little GoPro light. Okay, so here, you're gonna put a nut right on there. So there's 4 of these. The other one's tucked up there, and same on the other sides. So there's your nut. And then up in here, same thing. So get that on. Okay, so there's that. And then you can see in there, that is the new, one of the new seals we put on right there. And then the other one is right there, and it's just like a dust seal. It doesn't seal up perfectly watertight, just to kind of keep rocks and things and chunks of mud from getting in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put both, or all 4 of those nuts on, and we're gonna torque them down, and then we'll come back to the rest of the installation. Okay, there is a torque spec on these. It's 133 foot-pounds. And it kind of helps too to turn the knuckle at times to get better access. In there, I have to come up with something a little different on that, like a longer extension, I think. So all right, so I got the other side torqued, just finishing up this side. Okay, so this is a 13/16, and again, you're going to 133 foot-pounds on this. So let's get back over to this. Let's straighten this guy out. Okay. There's few more pieces involved in this hub. So you got this nut right here at the top, little 8mm. Take that out. And then there's a tab. So let's aim this down a little bit better. So there's this tab. So the tab's gonna go right there, and then you're gonna put the bolt through there. So I'm gonna get that on there. Sometimes it's a little hard holding the camera and trying to work at the same time, you know. And then the rest of this ABS wire here, this is going to start snapping in these areas following this brake line up. And then the end of the new ABS sensor, there it is, it's going to plug in right up there. So up next to your shock, there's where it is. So you're just going to weave the line, follow it up into there. Now let's talk about next few pieces. So we have these guys right here, these little thrust washers. Doing this job without this pair of snap ring pliers absolutely is terrible. So let me get this thing set back up. This is from Snap-on. Yeah, get this going. So we need, yep, this is what we're going to be looking at here. This is the tool. It's going to spread everything open. So the order that this goes in is this guy is going to get set in right there. Then the plastic is going to go over just like that. One more steel, and then I want you to try to see if we can, but right, I'll grab a pick to show you, but right on the top of all these things is a groove, and the groove is going to be for the snap ring to sit into. Now it needs to line up just right. If it's not lined up, that means you didn't stack stuff in there correctly. So let me clean my pick. There's my pick, and right up in there. Now that I pushed everything back, this thing just doesn't do very well with the light. But right back here where the pick's touching, that's right where that snap ring is going to go. So this snap ring needs to get set on there. Let's see if I can do this at the same time. So I'm going to set this down. Let me get this started. Okay. Here's our snap ring. Squeeze it and get that thing in there. Get it pretty close. Again, trying to do this one-handed is a little, there it goes. So that thing is in there now. It is in the groove. You can see now I can spin it around. It's in that groove, locked in there. So that's what you're gonna do. Next piece, if you have this option of these auto locking hubs, if we can get it to engage. Try to set this thing up right here. You just push it in there, and then we got this guy right here, this little spring. That's it. So what I did right there is I just squeezed these two tanks together and I pushed it in, and there's a little lip right on the inside there. This thing is now on. So that pretty much covers what you're going to be doing, doing the dust vacuum seals for the Super Duty and the Excursion. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the brakes, and I have the other side to do, so I don't think you guys need to see all that. Let's try not to make this video a 2-hour video. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you want to see. Maybe on my next job, if I have what you're looking for, I can put it up for you. If you got some questions, maybe I can put some tips and tricks into my next video. So tell me what you want to see. I want to thank you guys. I really want to hit 500 subscribers. I'm around 350 right now, and I want to hit 500 before the end of the year, so I need your guys' help doing it. I hope you like my content. I like making the videos for you guys. Next video should be local rock crawl that we got going on up here behind the Shasta Dam, or Shasta Lake up here in Redding. I'm going to be taking Space Kitty out and doing a rock crawl. So actually, this was pretty cool. I got to break out my old school helmets right here, and we're going to be replacing the Bluetooth units. This is what we used to do right here for Cow Rocks, and these were our comms before we had fancy radios, and I'm going back to it. Gonna be going out and doing some rock crawling, see if we can win a trophy, do some shop promotion, meet some new customers, and then we're also doing the poker run that the Black Sheep 4x4 Club's putting on. So it's October 12th on a Saturday. It's gonna be a really good time. If you've never been up to the Shasta Dam Off-Road Vehicle Park, I highly encourage you to do so. There's some Mile the Wild stuff. There's some beautiful trails. You can see really nice views, Mount Shasta, Mount Lassen. Especially in the winter, it looks really good when there's snow on all the mountains. It's a good time. I encourage you guys to go out there. So if you're ever up in Redding, need some auto repair, emergency, assistance, come see me at Flex Point Off-Road. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy your day.